All right, here is everything that happened in the world of Google AI in the last couple of weeks. Google shipped two brand new foundation models. First, TabFM. That means you can take any spreadsheet and predict something, who's going to churn, which payment is fraud, with absolutely no training data and no formulas. You basically hand it a tab or table, and then the large language model gives you the answer. And that raises the real question. If this works, what happens to traditional machine learning? More on that a little bit later. Now, another thing that they released is SensorFM, a model trained on smartwatch data. That means your heart rate, your sleep, your movement can now be read by AI to pull out real important health signals. And we'll see a live demo of this using Health CLI, the tool that Google shipped that actually pulls all that data out. Now, Google also made one of its smartest agents, Alpha Evolve, generally available this week. You can now actually access that as an API from Google Cloud. It's already been used to optimize Google's own data center operations. I actually dropped a full video on that earlier this week. I'm going to leave the link in the description. Now, Google also made their Interactions API generally available, which truly makes multi-turn agentic conversations a lot more efficient. The next one is Managed Agents API. They actually made this also GA, but also provided 4 solid updates. I'm planning to make a full deep dive on this in the coming week. Now, Google's Agent to UI, which is A to UI, hit its 1.0 candidate. This is where agents can build their own interfaces, what people are calling as generative UI. Next is Antigravity CLI. It's shipped 1.1.0 with a new mode that shows you every change before it touches your files. Next is AI Studio. AI Studio added custom name publishing plus a few more updates in there too, which I will actually demonstrate pretty quickly in this video. And finally, LightRT.js, which is real AI models running right inside your Chrome browser. All right, so those were the key updates from the last couple of weeks. Now, what we will do in the next few minutes is go a little bit deeper in some of those alongside with some live demonstration. Before we do that, a quick disclaimer, all opinions are my own and do not belong to my employer. All right, with that, let's get into it. All right, so let's start with the foundational models. As I mentioned earlier, Google actually released two different foundational models this week. So I want to start with TabFM, right? So what you're seeing on the screen is a little app that I built in order for us to understand TabFM. Now, what is TabFM? So if you think about this, like normally predicting something from its spreadsheet, let's say that you want to identify whose credit is at risk or who is going to churn or which transaction is fraud, right? Now, for you to do that using traditional machine learning, you'll have to do all the bits and pieces of it, right? So you'll have to do feature engineering, you'll have to do tuning, you have to do training of a model from scratch. Now, TabFM is a large language model which allows you to skip all of that. So what you're really doing here is you're providing the context, right? Which is, you can think of it as like a training data set, but really what this is, it provides a large language model in context information, right? And that allows it to basically learn. So here I'm providing it just as less as 5 different examples. You can see here, I'm trying to identify which of these people will be churning. And these are the columns that I have. So at the age, at the job, at the income, and this is an existing one, right? So I've got the risk label. So I'm going to only provide that. And then here you can see that the TabFM classifier is going to take that as an input. And now we are making a call to TabFM large language model, and it is going to be providing the output for each one of these. And that's the idea, where you are now leveraging a large language model in order to get an answer, which usually would have taken a machine learning entire kind of cycle in order to do this. While we are waiting for the answer, one thing I want us to think, right? Does this mean that traditional machine learning is done? I don't really think so, right? Because this, I think, is best for quick ad hoc answers on a spreadsheet. Remember, this is TabFM, so this already requires a tabular data. So for example, something like this. If you're running predictions at massive scale or you need to squeeze out like every large point of accuracy, a custom trained machine learning model will still win. But for, I just need an answer on this table right now, no machine learning team required, we don't need something like this, right? So you can see it just completed while we were talking, and you're able to see that this particular person who is a manager, whose age is 48, whose income is this, has the lowest risk, and these two people have a high risk. So this is how basically TabFM works. Now, I'm going to do a much more deeper dive on TabFM. So please let me know in the comment section if you will be interested in that. But I'm hoping that this app helped you understand the broad structure of what TabFM does, right? So that was one. Now, what we will do is try to understand the second model, which is SensorFM. Okay. Now, the second model is SensorFM, which is actually trained on wearable data. Think of Fitbit, Pixel Watch. It will be able to pull real health signals out of your heart rate, sleep, and movement. And the tool that actually lets you get at that data yourself is called Health CLI. So let me show you that. All right. So I installed the Health CLI and now I'm in my terminal and I'm going to give it this particular command to give me a daily steps roll up from June to July, right? So you can see here, it was immediately able to give me these details. And the way I was able to get this is I wear this Aura Ring and I've given Aura Ring access to the Google Health. And this is how it was able to pull this up, right? So this is how you will be able to use it in your normal command shell. So what I did was I also built this so that you can also see this interactively. So I'm pulling these commands and also you're able to see the graph right here. So these are all the things that you're able to pull up using the Health CLI, right? So you're able to see the interactive charts and stuff like that. So these are all commands, that I'm giving. So for example, now I'm asking it to give me sleep details and you can see that it has pulled up all the sleep details, the typical like dashboard that you would see whenever you're using like any health device, right? So it's pretty cool because you're able to see all different things here. And these are all different options which are available, right? So you can see your steps, you can see heart rate, exercise, sleep, weight, body fat, height, all of these things, right? So as long as you have given permission, and this is obviously secured and only private to you, but now you have a way for you to be able to visualize as well as understand your own health data, right? You can build an app like this, the way I built this using Antigravity, and have your own specific dashboard, and it is giving you real time, real data about your own health, right? You just have to give access to Google Health via your app. Okay. So that was another thing that I wanted to share. Now moving on to the agent side, right? So Interactions API, I think I made a full deep dive video on this. Interactions API is now GA. I feel that is one of the best method for you to be able to have a conversation which specifically required multi-turns. Then the next one is Manage Agents API. Manage Agents API actually got 4 updates and these are like really useful, right? So number one is background execution so that your agent can keep working on a task without you sitting there and watching it. Second one is very cool, which is remote MCP server integration so that you can plug into your own tools. Then they also added something called as custom function calling. So you can hand it functions specific to your own app. And the last one is credential refresh. So it can keep its access live mid-task instead of failing halfway through, right? All right. So now moving on to the next one, which is Antigravity CLI. So that one is a pretty cool one. So let me just show that one. So if you just type AGY right now, if you have already installed AGY, you should be able to get an updated version because it's self-update. So this is the latest version that you would see. I would highly recommend that you check this out. So now if you ask it to do something like this, so for example, add a short header comment at the top of demo.py explaining what the script is. What it is going to do is first, obviously, it is going to ask for permission. So I'm going to give that. So right now it is looking for the demo.py file and it has found it. And what it is now doing is it's actually showing you the diff, right, which is the difference between what we have asked it to write and what it already is. And this is brand new, right? This has come along with the new one. So it is now asking for your permission before making any change, right? So for the moment, I'm just going to reject this, but that is what is a brand new change, right? So it is able to show you upfront what is the difference between what you're asking and the existing one. So that's pretty cool. And there are some other updates as well. So I'll leave you a link to the changelog, but I thought this one was pretty cool within the Antigravity CLI. Now, moving on to the really cool one, which is my favorite tool, which is AI Studio. So one thing which is now possible is now you're able to publish the app and you see over here, you can actually have your own URL, right? This is where I was able to get suryakunju.ai.studio. So let's say that you take any of your existing app and then you hit publish. What it is able to do now is you can actually go ahead and change this URL to anything, right? Since I've already got Surya Kunju, it's gonna say URL is not available because I've already taken that. But you can just say that something like that, and it'll look for its availability. And now you can publish your app with your own URL. So that's pretty cool. That is something you are able to do, right? So that's something which I wanted to show. Another really important update is you can now import directly from GitHub. You click on that and then it shows all the repositories that are connected. And then you can click any repository that you like. And then it will bring the code over here, convert the code in a format that AI Studio understands. And then you're able to go ahead and change that. This is something which is very common among developers, where you like a repository, you want to adapt it and then make changes and make it your own. Now you're able to do that pretty quickly, right? So you can see that it is now imported from my GitHub repo. Once it builds it, you're able to work on it and design it and make it your own, right? So that was another update that I wanted to show. I again made a deep dive on the specific one, so I'll leave a link to the description. So I feel those were all the big updates from the last couple of weeks. Let me know in the comment section if this was helpful and if there are very specific topics that you would like me to go deeper, and I'm happy to make those. But I believe that these were fantastic updates and the Google AI team is definitely keeping busy. All right, so I hope this added value to your existing knowledge base. If you liked the video, please hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like button and do subscribe to the channel as well. All right, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.